You know, with all this extra attention that Deebo Samuel has gotten this past year, and deservedly so, he's been fantastic. Let's not forget about the other great receiver that San Francisco has, who I think is one of the most underrated receivers in football. You know how every fan of every team is convinced that all of their wide receivers are highly underrated? Well, for Brandon Aiyuk, it is actually the case, and let's get into the film and talk about it, starting off with a play like this. So the way this play works is it's going to be man coverage, and you see where Brandon Aiyuk is. He's the one who I have circled in yellow. It's going to be a one-on-one matchup, so watch what he's able to do. First, watch this release where he's able to get the inside leverage so well, and that's just, very good release. That first steps can mean so much, especially against man coverage, and he's able to do a good job of getting the inside leverage, which is important because the ball is going to go to the inside. So then when he cuts in, he is able to get just enough of a window. Good throw from Jimmy Garoppolo as well, and he's able to make the catch. So this is the stuff that Aiyuk can do a good job of. He is very shifty. He does move very well. He can beat man coverage consistently. So I know everyone talks about, oh, it's the Shanahan scheme, but, he can beat man coverage. And, now, to be fair, like a play like this, there are times when he is benefited from, the Shanahan scheme benefits him. There's no denying that. You see where he is on the screen. Watch what happens. With the play action that's about to happen here, I mean, the Rams just completely lost him. He gets wide open. Great play by Shanahan, although he does a good job after the catch, picking up as many yards as possible. And, it all works together, right? Yes, Kyle Shanahan schemed that up perfectly, got, Aiyuk wide open. Good work, certainly, with all of that stuff. But also we can move on to a play like this where what's going to happen here is it's again going to be zone coverage. It's a cover 3 zone that the Rams are in, and it's again going to be kind of one of those Shanahan schemed up type plays where you have Brandon Aiyuk who's going to eventually run over the middle. That's how this play is going to work. Look at how right when this play begins, there's no play action here, but again, you're still trying to find, a gap. You see the corner who's playing a little bit off Aiyuk, and how Aiyuk can definitely, get in position now to potentially get open. Also, a little bit of editing in real time. This is actually, it's not a cover 3 zone like I put on the screen. I just realized watching this play now, it is a cover 1 robber. I put the wrong graphic on the screen, but, still kind of a similar concept where you see how the defensive back was playing so far off because he was selling pre-snap that it could have been a cover 3 zone. And because of this, now Aiyuk did such a good job at that beginning part of the route where when he's now cutting in over the middle, this is the first part where he's cutting in, and you see how far off that receiver is playing because he did not know what Aiyuk was doing. So when Aiyuk does get over the middle, good throw from Garoppolo again. Hey, Garoppolo playing well in at least these clips that I've shown, and Aiyuk is able to make the catch and pick up a big gain. So again, good stuff from Brandon Aiyuk and good route running especially. I think something like this, which is a very small play, is still a very impressive one in my opinion, where Aiyuk is in motion and he's going to just simply run to the flat towards the left side of the offense or towards the bottom of the screen. You have the receiver who's currently lined up in that direction running a deep route. Hopefully that clears, players out of the way. That's as simple as it works. And look, once again, good job by both of those receivers. The Rams maybe could have prepared for that a little bit better, and there is a bit of a window now for Garoppolo to make this throw. But, Aiyuk did a good job of getting there quickly, and I think that when Garoppolo makes the throw, Aiyuk does a good job of picking up as many yards as possible. So again, I think you could look at this and say, if some of these other receivers had those kind of opportunities, they would have probably been able to make it work as well. It's the Kyle Shanahan scheme. But I think that he's perfect for the Kyle Shanahan scheme. I think it all works together. And because of how well it blends together, that's what I think is why he's been so successful. And I also think that, it works that he fits the scheme so well. And again, something like this works in any scheme, where what you're going to see here is you're playing against zone coverage because, hey, teams play zone coverage regardless. That's not teams don't only do that against Kyle Shanahan. They do it regardless. You have a cover 3 zone with Aiyuk running over the middle. And as you see, right when this play begins, you see how the second Aiyuk cuts over, the corner who's covering Aiyuk is not yet in position because Aiyuk does a good job at waiting. This corner, you might recognize him. He is, Jalen Ramsey. He is the guy. So the fact that that's who you can fool really, I think, goes to show how good of a route runner that Aiyuk is, because one of the things Ramsey's obviously known for is being such a high IQ player. So being able to even fool the best kind of just goes to show that, Aiyuk does a great job of running those beginning parts of the route, Ramsey is not, does not have his hips turned towards the middle of the field or anything. Of course, there's the flip side, which is if you don't give yourself a head start earlier on in the route, you then have to make sure you get to your spot later on in the route. But Aiyuk cuts in so well that he is able to still be able to make a catch, pick up a good amount of yards. Ramsey wasn't even able to touch him on that play. So again, very good play from Aiyuk. It wasn't really a bad play by Ramsey, but this is just the situation that Aiyuk can put you into, and that works in any scheme. Any scheme will need a receiver to do that at some point, and Aiyuk can do it incredible. He can beat man coverage very well, so he can work in any scheme. He's not a scheme-dependent player, but it's the perfect marriage when you put him in a scheme that his traits match up perfectly with what Shanahan needs from you. So yeah, I think it's interesting with Aiyuk. You look at his statistics, and it's okay, 2020, 748 yards. Last year, 826 yards. Not exactly lighting the world on fire in terms of total yardage, but let's keep in mind, was not used much early on last year, which, again, I don't know what that whole situation was with Kyle Shanahan and why Aiyuk was struggling to get playing time early on. I know some fantasy football fans were very upset about it. I don't know. I have no idea what that whole thing was. But once he started getting significant playing time, because he didn't get the playing time earlier on, this now sort of, I think he overperformed what his statistics were, what his bulk stats were, and it's kind of one of the issues with only using total yards for a wide receiver, especially when it's listen, the Shanahan scheme, they run the ball a lot. You're not going to get as many opportunities. So, again, don't let the just 800 yards fool you. Not that that's bad in its own way, but, he was, I think, significantly better than that. And I do think this is what makes that San Francisco 49ers offense work so well. Everyone talks about the Shanahan scheme, and don't get me wrong, Shanahan scheme, fantastic. Does a lot of great stuff for the 49ers, no denying that. But I think that, the other thing that should be mentioned that doesn't get mentioned a ton is you have Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and Brandon Aiyuk in the passing game. As long as Samuel isn't playing running back, you have three dominant wide receivers in the passing game. And in my opinion, yes, Aiyuk is a great wide receiver. I think he is you could make the argument, is this too hot take? You can make the argument he's a true number one wide receiver. I don't think it's that hot of a take. I mean, he can check all the boxes. He's great in a specific scheme, and he can beat man coverage consistently. He is someone you can look at on a 3rd down and 7 to get open. The 49ers don't put themselves in those situations too frequently, but when they do, he can be successful. So, big Brandon Aiyuk fan, I think is underrated. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.